Yo, what up, guys? What up? What up? What up? I don't know if you guys can hear me. Hopefully, you can. If you're new to my channel, welcome. This is Basio Builds Wealth. I am more so known as being a barber, an educator, an entrepreneur, and I've built multi-million-dollar companies, specifically mostly within the barber industry. But through those experiences, I feel like I am a good I'm a good source when it comes to, I would say, getting an opinion on you know uh business ideas and entrepreneurship. And so I created this channel pretty much basically about that. All right. So with that being said, guys, I want to go ahead and talk about um the rich and the wealthy, and who you should idolize. And I was having this conversation with my business partner because we were trying to define what rich and wealthy was. And to me, I think there's a lot of rich people out there. There's a lot of people who are rich. And by society standards, let's define what this means. And you guys could say in the chat real quick before I define it myself. I give my opinion on the definition. Define what is rich to you and what is wealthy to you. If you guys can do it in the chat real quick, I will wait a couple seconds till I can get some of that. But in the meantime, I'll just tell you guys, we were talking about strategy, and it's always good. For me, it's always good to have a business partner because it's very lonely when you're trying to build a business by yourself. And it's really important to be able to throw things, against the wall and get some feedback. And a lot of times you, as an entrepreneur, if you're doing all of the work, it's really hard to think strategically from the outside in. It's very important to be able to think 5 years ahead. You're playing chess in entrepreneurship. And so we were just talking strategy and stuff, and it got to a point where we decided, to kind of define what was rich and wealthy. And I think that getting rich is fairly, the blueprint's been out there. It's been put out there, and there's a lot of different ways that you can become rich. And that's, go to school, get a good paying job, and become a doctor. That's build a business. That's bust your ass, work really hard, and and create a skill set that people value, and leverage that. Then there's, making sure you're investing while you do all of these things, and you'll continue to be rich. But what does wealth look like? I mean, you got a lot of people who, idolize rich people, and they don't know the difference between rich and wealthy. So, all right, so we got some comments coming in now, I believe, and we will discuss them. Hold on. Sound levels. Let me make sure the sound levels are sounding good. We will unmute that. All right. So we got some. Rich, you working for bread / wealthy. You're working for bread. Wealthy, bread, working for more bread. Okay. Having a positive satisfaction of quality of life that you're currently living in. No, I would definitely go deeper than that. How long can you live comfortably if you can't work anymore? Yeah. To me, rich is you're living comfortable but still working to maintain it. Wealthy to me is living comfortable without needing to continue to having constant streams of income. Professional athletes, wealthy long term, to keep it going for the next generations. Yeah. Okay. So here's what rich is. To me, rich is the top 5% of income earners. If you're a top 5 income earner, you're probably rich, right? You can afford more than just an asset. You can afford to put your kids in private school. You can afford a nice house. You can afford a nice car, and you can go on vacations. You can pretty much, if you're top 5% of income earners, you're making 300 grand a year. Let's see what that looks like a month. Okay, you're looking at $25,000 a month. You can afford a $5,000 mortgage, $2,000 a month cars, which will get you a Model X and a Porsche or something, or a Range Rover, you can put your kids in private school and still have, 10 grand to invest every single month into the stock market if you wanted to, right? That's rich. And doctors are rich, lawyers are making this type of income money. I think the president gets paid like $400,000 a year, right? So that's rich. And typically, a lot of people who are rich, typically their lifestyle kind of follows along with their income. Just like I was talking about, their cars and the houses and all that thing. And that's great. But those are also the same people that when the economy takes a hit, when there's a pandemic, they're scared. There's a thing I feel like that every 10 years that they call the transfer of wealth. And typically that doesn't happen to the wealthy. What happens when there's a pandemic or a recession or something crazy that happens to the economy, typically the wealthy get wealthier. And that's because they put themselves in a position where when things like that happen, they grow out of this world because they own all the things that are necessary for people, especially during times of hardship. Rich people, on the other hand, are the ones who go broke, who get their cars repoed, who, if they can't work, they gotta go in forbearance, they gotta go take a PPP loan, all these things, right? And that's the biggest difference in my opinion. Like there's a lot of rappers that are rich, there's a lot of athletes that are rich, and so on and so forth. And people are super impressed by the nice cars and things like that. But there's a huge difference in my opinion. Like I'm not buying a nice car if I don't have a commercial property or some type of real estate or at least a portfolio of some type of investments. And I want to show you guys, something that's really, really cool, that I love that I've seen from Nas. So Nas has a VC firm. It's called Queensbridge Venture Partners. Now I want to make this clear real quick before I break this down a little bit more. In order to be a VC, you have to be an accredited investor. All right. An accredited investor. And the reason why they made this term called accredited investor. Hold on. Let me look up qualifications of what an accredited investor is. The reason why they did this is to protect the American people, because some for some reason the government believes that they're protecting people from losing all of their money. When what I see a lot of times is if you're not financially savvy before you come across money, you're going to lose it anyways, right? So whether you're losing it because you made a bad investment or you're losing it because you spent it all at the casino and at strip clubs, like what is the government really trying to protect here? For me, what I feel like it holds back the lower and middle class more than anything. But that's opinion based, right? So what qualifies an accredited investor? Oh wow, would you look at this? You gotta be a top 5% income earner. You gotta be a top 5% income earner, and you have to have done it for the last 2 years to be an accredited investor. And when you become an accredited investor, now you get to invest in things that the regular middle class and lower class person cannot invest in, no matter how intelligent they are. It's almost like the government doesn't realize that there are people who study their asses off and learn these things and are more than qualified to invest $10,000 a year if they have it, $5,000 a year if they have it. If they were allowed to do it, these people would win and the American dream would be more possible, in my opinion. But I mean, if you really wanted to protect people, make them qualify for it here, not with how much money they got. You make it so much harder, right? So anyways, check this out, guys. This is Queensbridge Venture Partners. Nas, man, he, one of the best rappers of all time. He didn't put out as much. He doesn't he stopped working for like the last 10 years, right? He had that one album with that, I think that was like 15 years ago. They shook, I made you look. You a slave to a page in my rob. That was crazy, right? So it seemed like he disappeared for a while, but it's because he's been working. It's because he's been working, and this is gonna lead to another point that I wanted to make. But it seemed like he's been working on something that was more important, and this to me was the project Queensbridge Venture Partners. And on this website, you can see that he has 128 different investments. That he's done 38 exits, and I want you to see these are some of his current companies, right? Look at this one, Casper. Ooh. All right. These are some of his exits. Let me show you, guys. Coinbase. It's rumored that with Coinbase, his firm is going to make $200 million. This is a rapper who decided he wanted to build wealth. He didn't want to just be rich. He wanted to build wealth. Okay. $200 million on Coinbase. I know he made money on Casper. Casper is huge. I know he made money on Dropbox. Huge. Bro, come on, guys. Lyft. Are you serious? Are you serious? Like, these are huge companies. I would click show more, but I got to pay for it. I'm showing you guys this to show y'all Nas was investing in these things. And here's the kicker. He didn't just learn how to invest in these things out of nowhere. Do you think most of these rappers, and I mean, you guys can name a whole bunch of rappers that that you immediately think of when I ask this question. Do you really think that these rappers who are making create boatloads of money, 100,000, a feature, not even those guys. Those guys are probably smarter than that. But guys who are making a few $1,000,000 a year rapping, do you think they know how to create a VC company? Do you think they even know what an accredited investor is? Probably not. Probably not. So how did someone like Nas, who's from Queens, came from nothing, how did he bridge that gap of knowledge? How did he even get into this space where he could even have the opportunity to invest in huge companies like Coinbase, Lyft, Dropbox, Casper, right? And the answer is his network. His network. He didn't close the doors on people, right? He didn't close the doors on people because they didn't look like him or because they didn't have things in common or they weren't friends or they weren't family. Mayweather is famous for saying, his Jewish friends are the reason why he's a billionaire, why he's so rich, right? And it's because he's built relationships with people in other classes, in other walks of life, that were able to help him get into these spaces, right? And in Nas's case, it was Ben Horowitz, right? Let me show you guys who Ben Horowitz is. This guy was a hip hop fan who loved Nas, Jay-Z's of the world, and he just wanted a relationship with those guys. He just wanted to connect with these guys, right? This is who I'm talking about. This guy. Look at this guy. Do you think him and Nas have anything in common? Well, they did, right? He had a love for hip hop, and he wanted to link up with one of the greatest rappers of all time, and that was Nas. And he wanted to put Nas onto some game, and he did. He put him onto some game, and now the man Nas is closing on a $200 million deal with Coinbase. Crazy. And so that's what I'm saying, man. It's so important, guys, to welcome relationships, to build relationships, to look outside of your box. You know what I'm saying? Because your friends from high school, from college, they're going to come and go. Like, you can't force the people who are going to stay in your circle. If you truly believe in the whole idea that you name me your 4 or 5 friends, you're going to be the 6th or the 5th or whatever. If you truly believe in that, sometimes you're going to have to leave that circle. That doesn't mean that's a permanent thing, but if you really care about wealth, sometimes you got to leave the current circle you're in for a time, right? Because you can't help a sinking ship if your ship is sinking too. You know what I mean? There's a reason why the whole crab in a barrel mentality is a thing. At some point, you're going to have to outgrow that. You're going to have to leave that place in order to grow and put yourself here in a position where if you choose to go help, somebody, you can, and you can do it the way that Ben Horowitz did for Nas. And now Nas can do it for people after him, or the people who were closest to him that just don't know, right? But at some point, somebody has to break the barrier some way in order to change their family tree, right? And so this is what the difference between rich and wealthy people do. They seek outside help. They seek people who are specialists in things that take a lifetime to specialize in. But you leverage other people in order to get you there. You got to be humble in order to do that. You can't think you're better than everyone in order to do that. You got to, and not just that, but you have to bring something to the table as well. You can't, I cannot hit up Ben Horowitz and ask him for the same help that Nas did. I ain't Nas. You get what I'm saying? But I could probably reach out to somebody like Ben Horowitz who we might have something in common that I don't know. Maybe you don't know the type of people who watch my YouTube channel just because they love cutting hair, and they specialize in very important things like that can help me, like video editing, marketing, Amazon FBA, and we have synergies that help one another. And that's really how I've grown so much. And I've said this in the past, guys. It's important to partner with people, but most of the time when you partner with people and it's a failure, it's because you are getting with friends to create a business instead of creating a business and becoming friends. When you get with friends to create a business, it typically does not work out. 9 out of 10 of them, I'm telling you, don't work out. There's books written on this, right? But when you get into business with people, and the reason why you get into business with people is because together you guys can grow something big, and you become friends from that, man, the chances of your business being successful is 9 out of 10, right? It's funny how that works. And so if you want to get wealthy, you have to get wealthy in your network here, and that'll put you in a position where if you're already rich, you can make that something that lasts generations. And for me, rich, again, it's top 5% income. But wealthy to me is not just having different streams of income, because I'm rich. But I have 15 different streams of income, 12 different companies. All right. And I feel rich, but I don't feel wealthy. And the reason why I say that is because if I'm thinking strategy, if I'm sitting down with my business partners and I'm thinking strategy, there are specific things that can happen that will, I feel, destroy 10 out of my 14 streams of income. Just one specific thing. There are specific things that can happen that could destroy half of my sources of income. That doesn't make me sleep well at night. And so even though I can say I'm rich, I do not feel wealthy, but I am working towards that. And the way that you do that is by having partners, having a circle of friends that can identify these things for you and with you. And you can do the same for them because you guys are in different spaces and coming from different perspectives. But it's also, in my opinion, very, very important to think of all the oh shits, right? And excuse my language, but all of the things that can happen that don't make you sleep good at night, right? Anxiety is a thing. When you every time you reach a level of success, you cannot rest. Like you have to think of how many different ways can this great thing that you have going on break. And I was having a conversation with someone that I respect in the barber industry, who was like, I remember before the pandemic happened, thinking to myself like, man, I was in prison. I ain't have nothing. I built something in the last 10, 15 years. And now it's feeling like it's getting too easy. He told me it's feeling like it's too easy. Like, bro, I went this weekend. I went here. I went there. I made this amount of money. It's like, damn, man, it's getting too easy. And then, boom, the pandemic happened. And that was a wake-up call. Luckily, he was smart enough to diversify his portfolio from the get. But the pandemic destroyed his top 3 incomes. Destroyed it, because not every stream of incomes are going to be the same. If you're somebody who, the majority of your sources of income is concerts because you are an event planner or whatever, but your side hustles are like dividends or a couple real estate properties, that type of thing, you're going to be hurting. You're talking about somebody who is probably making $300K a year, losing $150, $200K of their income. That's tough, right? And so, in order to build wealth, that's what you got to do, guys. It's not just having multiple streams of income. It's strategically putting yourself in a position where you're diversified enough, and you're constantly thinking of what are the worst things that can happen, and how can I protect these things? How can I preserve where I'm at right now? And I call it saving the game. If you've gotten to a place where you're finally at 6 figures, how do you save the game? Well, this year, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on paying off my debts. Boom. That makes it easier that if my income gets cut in half, I can still live the same lifestyle. For example, let's say you get to 200K or 300K. How do you save the game? Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start building up my stock portfolio, and I'm going to put 100K a year. I'm still going to live the lifestyle of $100,000 a year, but now that I'm at 300K, I'm going to commit to building a stock portfolio. I'm going to commit to spending 100K a year into real estate. And a lot of times I could get you like 2 properties if you're putting 25% down or whatever on investment properties. But you got to see how you're diversifying into stocks, here into real estate, maybe into businesses in a whole different space, right? So if you're thinking pandemic, I got to protect myself from pandemics, maybe I'm going to start putting my money into, I don't know, what would you guys say? I would say e-commerce, something e-commerce, an e-commerce business is of some type, because e-commerce boomed during the pandemic. You guys get what I'm saying? Like, this is a different way of thinking, I feel like, and I just wanted to kind of cover this topic because I think it is very important. I don't think enough people talk about it. So I'm going to read the comments now, and we'll go from here. So what we got here? For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and forfeit his soul? I don't know what that means. I don't know what the point of that was. Profit. For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and forfeit his soul? I don't get it. As if you have to forfeit your soul to gain the whole world. Like those type of quotes kind of trip me out. Rich people make lots of money, but the wealthy will reinvest and be sustainable. Rich is almost like chasing after money, but wealth is more value behind it. So more freedom behind it. Cryptocurrency Scarface. That was off 100K too. Yeah. Yeah, the Coinbase investment, guys. This investment, it's rumored that this Coinbase investment was 100 to 150K initial investment, and that grew to 200 million, bro. That's insane. That's so true. At some point, you're gonna have to outgrow. Can't help if you can't help yourself first. That's facts, man. And I hear so many people, especially in the lower class, talk about how we need to teach people credit, boom, 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 this, and that. Or like, I got to help my homies, I got to help my family. It's like, no, you don't. You can't help people who don't want to be helped. Look how many people on this live stream, and I shared it on my Instagram. On my Instagram, I have 108,000 followers. Look how many people on this live stream. You can't help people who don't want to be helped. And I'm not going. There's no way I'm going to spend all my time, my energy trying to convince people to grow with me. I didn't do it when I started my YouTube channel. I tried to do it with Tune 45. Tried to do it with the barbershops. Tried to do it with real estate. All that does, when people are not ready to hear this type of information, all that does is it pushes people you love away. Because guess what? If you're trying to push them to follow you, they're going to be annoyed, and they're not going to want to hang out with you no more. And then once you become successful and you do everything that you said you were going to do, it's a lose-lose because they become resentful as well. What you got to do is just focus on you, the man in the mirror, the people that your family, your kids and your wife, right? And let everything else kind of come together. They'll come along, at some point in time. They'll come along, and the ones that don't, they weren't meant to. That's why, like, for me, man, I don't care if you're blood. I don't care if you look like me. I don't care about none of that. I do not design. I don't pick and choose who gets to be in my circle. You know what I'm saying? You just become part of it. You earn that, right? Like, and I earn you. I earned that respect from you. You earn that respect from me, and that's when we know we should be hanging out. We should be working together some way, shape, or form, right? Let's continue. That's so true. Yeah. Okay, dropping gems. Thank you. Appreciate that. It's like that saying, it's easier to make a client a friend than get a friend to be a client. Oof, facts. That's facts. But I also appreciate the value. No doubt, John. No doubt. Why don't you use an apron when you cut hair? Because I don't cut hair that often, and it's not really a big deal to me. I don't wear nice clothes to the shop. So I rather have less clothes on me, to be honest. I'm definitely warm-blooded, hot-blooded. I be sweating in the shop. Not everyone is built for this type of life. Building wealth is a lifestyle, and most won't sacrifice it. That's facts. No one wants to ride along your journey until they see that you made it. I'm here to build generational wealth for my daughter's grandkids. That's what's up, man. Jesus is agreeing. I appreciate everything you're doing, man. I've learned so much from you. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it. So I'm thinking about I'm not gonna do that tonight. I was thinking about bringing people on to the live, but I'm not gonna do that tonight. I think we could make this one short and sweet. I want to be more consistent on this channel, so let's see. Maybe we'll do this a few times a week. Maybe do this a few times a week, and yeah. Let me see what else we got here. Yeah. That's it, guys. So anyways, thank you guys for being on the live stream, man. What I'm gonna try to do is schedule these things a little bit earlier on to promote these lives a little bit more. If you guys got something from this live, please do share it, and make sure you subscribe if you're not. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, have a good one.